So the biggest boxing event of the year just took place last night in Saudi Arabia, the Day of Reckoning. This was boxing's biggest card of the year. Probably one of the biggest and most stacked boxing cards of my lifetime anyway. You have massive names on it like AJ, Wilder, Parker. You had Daniel Dubois on there, Jermell Miller, big talker on it, Demitri Bivol, pound for pound great, just coming off that win to Canelo. And it just did not deliver. This fight did not deliver. I'm going to give you my recap and review of the card, of the main card anyway. So starting off the main card was Jermell Miller versus Daniel Dubois. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the start of it anyway. So with this matchup, again, this card was made within the space of 4 weeks, which was absolutely insane. But you could see that Jermell Miller came into this matchup 100 pounds heavier than Daniel Dubois in here. He was basically just obese. He was so fat, it was ridiculous. I think he came in at like 26 stone, I think. But anyway, in the matchup, you could see that he was massive compared to Daniel. Daniel in the first opening rounds was moving very well, although, and the commentators brought this up as well, I don't know why he was like pushing Jermell Miller off him. He wasn't really cutting angles that much. He was landing big shots, and Jermell Miller is extremely durable from what we've seen last night, even though we did get TKO'd. But anyway, we've seen him. Jermell Miller, I thought, was coming in with the perfect game plan, which was to try and walk Daniel Dubois down by just going to try and tire him out in the later stages of the fight and then capitalise. But that just wasn't the case. He slowed down as well, although in the fifth and fourth round, to me, it did look like Daniel Dubois was completely gassed and was on his way to being finished, but Jermell Miller just didn't have the cardio, didn't have the gas tank, and really his shot selection last night was pretty terrible. He wasn't really throwing many combinations. Daniel Dubois was the one throwing combinations. A lot of people questioned his heart going into this matchup because we did see him take the knee against Joe Joyce. That was a bad eye injury. And then obviously we've seen the Usyk one as well. And people were questioning Daniel Dubois' heart. I think he showed he does have a lot of heart, a lot of character in that matchup last night. You've seen him dig deep, come back, and in the 10th round, get the stoppage of Jermell Miller. I mean, I'm not really too fussed about the stoppage, but I think you probably could have let him go to a decision. But anyway, I'm not a referee, so who am I to judge? But yeah, good performance on Daniel Dubois' behalf. In my opinion, it was probably the best fight on the card, I think, from what I seen anyway. Then next up you had Demitri Bivol, the pound for pound great, fighting Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon Arthur from the get-go, just he knew he wasn't going to win. You could tell. Demitri Bivol, his style is insane. This guy is so pinpoint accurate, it's unbelievable. The only thing he's missing is that power. He really just doesn't have any power whatsoever. He did drop Lyndon Arthur with a body shot, but he just couldn't get the finish, and Lyndon Arthur just looked like he was in there to survive. He wasn't really trying to do much. I think he did land a good body shot, but again, didn't do much off it. And Lyndon Arthur isn't that bad of a boxer in my opinion. He's obviously nowhere near the level of Demitri Bivol. I don't think anybody in the light heavyweight division is. I think he beats everybody in that division quite comfortably. But yeah, Lyndon Arthur was just in there to survive, and you could tell it was pretty boring. But again, Demitri Bivol has been out of the ring for over a year now, so it was, I suppose, good experience for him to get back, get a few rounds under his belt, and he looked good doing it. He took no damage. Then we moved on to the co-main event. This is what I want to talk about: Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. This fight, and I said in the build-up on my TikTok and stuff, this was a lot closer than what people were letting on. Genuinely, I believe the trilogy that Wilder and Fury had ruined both guys. Even Tyson Fury hasn't looked the same after those fights we've seen against Ngannou. Deontay Wilder's legs looked gone from the start. He's never had massive legs, but he just did not look right. He was no, I don't know how to describe it. It just wasn't a Wilder performance. Now, I said he would probably get outboxed for majority of the rounds and then KO him in the ninth, but there was no urgency on Wilder's behalf, and more importantly, there was no urgency from his corner to tell him, look, you're down. You really need to look for the finish here. There was none of that. Malik Scott, I don't know, this is the thing with Wilder. We've seen it when the towel was thrown in the second Fury fight. It's as if people don't want to say anything to him. Like, they don't want to be like, look, you're getting beat here, you need to do something. They just want to keep trying to encourage him. That's what it seems like to me anyway. I don't know if anybody will agree with me on that one, but yeah, Wilder looked terrible. He looked awful. Now, that's no disrespect to Joseph Parker. He had a fantastic performance. Him and Andy Lee really game planned for this and game planned well. He basically just neutralised Deontay Wilder. And the shots that Deontay Wilder was throwing, they were weird as hell. They were like hammer fists, were like the best shots he threw. and he got caught multiple times. Fair play to Wilder, he still has a chin, but in my opinion, I think it is time for him to call it quits. And let's be honest, Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, that fight was shit. It was so boring. Went all 12 rounds, and the fact that Wilder said at the end of it he thought he'd done enough to win is ridiculous. Honestly, I genuinely don't know what goes on in that guy's head. But yeah, he did say in the post-fight press conference he didn't retire officially, but he said, you know, he's made enough money now, he's made the right investments. For me, I think he should just call it quits. I don't see the point in having him box. Who's he going to box? I don't want to see him fight Ngannou in MMA either. I don't even want to see him fight Ngannou in boxing, to be honest. I mean, the only fight I can think of if he wants to stay is him versus Joe Joyce. Him, Daniel Dubois, wouldn't have been a bad matchup. I keep butchering Daniel Dubois' last name, I can't lie to you. But yeah, Wilder looked pretty shit out there, and I think the trilogy with Fury just took it out of him. Took it out of both guys. I think they're done, both of them. Well, Wilder more so than Fury. And then on to the main event. Anthony Joshua is back. Finally, this guy is not throwing one shot and clinching anymore. He's letting his hands go, letting the combinations fly, and he absolutely demolished Otto Wallen out there. Otto Wallen was talking a big game in the lead up to this matchup, but when it got to getting in there and starting the fight, he was petrified of Anthony Joshua. Joshua hurt him multiple times in there. Had Otto Wallen. Otto Wallen landed nothing of note. He didn't offer really anything to AJ. AJ just bullied him. And even like you could just see the difference in frame. It was ridiculous. I mean, I suppose it's going to be hard to look half decent against Anthony Joshua anyway. The guy's a machine, but yeah, AJ rocked Wallen multiple times, hurt him, and had the corner just basically call it off in the 5th round. He busted up Wallen's eye, his nose. He was bleeding. He was in a bad way. Genuinely, I think the AJ that we seen last night would have beaten the Tyson Fury that we seen against Ngannou. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm on the boxing casual side, to be honest. I don't really watch the boxing. I find it boring, and last night kind of proved my point. You know, this was their big card, and it really did not live up to much. I mean, I wish we actually got to see AJ properly finish Wallen instead of quitting on the stool, but I mean, again, he maybe didn't want to go out there and take more unnecessary damage when he knew he was going to get stopped. So yeah, I mean, overall, great names on the card. I think boxing's in trouble, to be honest. And another thing, the Saudi Arabian card, I'm glad that they're involved because they are making the big fights and bringing the big names together, but the attendance is terrible in these arenas, and the atmosphere in these arenas is absolutely terrible as well. But yeah, I don't know what's going to... I think what's next for Anthony Joshua, obviously the Wilder fight they said it was signed for, it's not happening anymore. I do believe Anthony Joshua will become a 3-time heavyweight champion when he fights Filip Hrgovic next, who also got an impressive first round KO, but again, he was in there with a guy that had no interest in being in there with him, let's be real. So yeah, good performance from AJ. Wish Wilder had got to actually see a proper finish. Wilder is done, in my opinion, should retire. Joseph Parker, really impressive. Can't believe the guy's only like 32 as well, which is insane. Jermell Miller, he needs to really focus up and get in better shape. I mean, he did say that. I mean, the card was put together in like 4 weeks, but even still, like, that guy looked like he didn't train at all for it. And Demitri needs to be in these mega fights now. No more of this. He doesn't need any more tune-ups. Get him in there. Get these mega fights booked. And if it has to be in Saudi Arabia because those are the guys that are going to offer up the money, then so be it. That is where it's going to have to be. But that's going to do me for this one. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. As you can see, my social medias are on the top of the screen. I appreciate all the support, and get the Christmas jumper in. Have a good Christmas, everybody, and I will see you again in the next one.